Well, the truth of it was, Richard, I was coming out of a real deep depression, and basically the shrink had run out of pills, and there was nowhere else to go with it. And I thought, well, maybe if I write a script, and of course I have all the source material. I went back and pulled case files and newspaper clippings, and I started putting together. And the story is narrative. I write both fiction and nonfiction, and to me, fiction is easier because you're only limited by your imagination. And nonfiction, you've got to pretty much stay. You can make some time shifts, but the stories have got to be pretty much dead on. And since I had all the source material, that was the way I went with it. And it took me about, I'm going to say, the better part of a year to write it. And I was working on it, and I got a call from an old friend of mine named Herb Ross. And he said, I want to talk to you about hiring you to write a screenplay for me. And I said, okay. And he said, let me give you some guideposts. And I said, all right. And he started describing what he wanted. And I said, Ross, I said, basically what you just described, I'm about 90% finished with that right now. And of course he said, well, send me what you've got. And I said, look, I don't want to do that because there are gaps in it and I haven't finished it out. He said, all you writers are crazy anyway. He said, just put a blank piece of paper in where there's going to be a scene and say, this is what it's going to be. And he said, I really want to see it. So I sent it to New York, and he must have speed read the thing, because he called me back and he said, this is going to work. He said, can you come to New York? And I said, sure. So by this time I had finished the story, and that was the basis for Pimp the movie. Well, because it was easier. I'm just now starting on, I won't call it a sequel, it's more of a continuum, but it picks up where our protagonist, Jack, leaves off maybe 2 or 3 days. And also, when I was writing it, I was looking for the lowest budget possible. So there are a lot of locations in this that can be used on multiple setups. And I had made a trip to Toronto, and they took me up and wined and dined me and showed me the studio they had up there. And it's a fantastic facility. They've got literally every kind of street that you would want inside of a massive, like, aircraft hangar. And they've got cobblestones. If you want to do say, a period piece with Sherlock Holmes, they've got the cobblestones. And if you want to change scenes, basically you don't move your camera. You can add styrofoam fire plugs, mailboxes, telephone poles, lamp posts, and so that was where my mind was. I was thinking, we've got to shoot as many scenes as we can without picking, because when you start moving a crew, that's like moving an army. So that was why I went with this. It was the cheapest to shoot. So unfortunately, the continuum is going to be expensive, because by this time Jack has progressed in his law practice to where now he's representing high dollar people, and there are jet aircraft involved and limousines and everything that runs up a movie budget. Mm-hmm. But that was basically it. I said I started with streetwalkers, and so basically I'd say 70% of it is shot on the street. And that's about the cheapest location you can get.
So the characters that are in this film, tell me what their basis is.
All right, they're all dead on accurate. Obviously, I've had to change the names.